I'm just going to ask you, did you kill Markus Boyd?
Did not kill Markus.
On October 30th, 1994, 25-year-old Markus Boyd was sitting on the front steps of his home in South St. Louis with his friend Greg Elking. Boyd's girlfriend and their baby were upstairs.
All he talked about all the time, was about his baby and about his girlfriend. He's making me laugh. We're kind of laughing at each other. But all of a sudden he went serious. He was like, oh no.
From the narrow pathway next to Boyd's apartment, two men came out of nowhere.
These guys, they had completely dark clothing and they had masks on.
Elking says the men flew up the porch steps. One grabbed Boyd and the other grabbed Elking.
And he says, get the up. I remember looking at him right in the guy's eyes. The other guy, I seen him put the gun right up to Marcus's neck area. And when he pulled the trigger, I seen the flash. Boom. The third shot, I kind of seen Marcus's soul just go. And I knew he was dead.
To Elking's horror, both men continued to shoot Boyd. Then they vanished, sparing the only eyewitness.
And where were you when this happened?
I was about 3 miles away.
Johnson, who was only 20 at the time, says he was with his girlfriend Erica Barrow and their 5-month-old daughter Kiera visiting friends. Johnson had been working at Jiffy Lube while attending community college, but he also had a dangerous side hustle, selling small amounts of crack cocaine for extra cash.
Yes, I was making some poor choices then, and I take responsibility for that. But that wasn't the sum of who I was.
On the night of the shooting, Erica says Lamar was only out of her sight once.
So we were there because he was making a transaction, someone was coming. And so he was just like, I'll be right back.
Johnson left the house, Erica says, just as she began changing Kiera's diaper.
And I went out to meet somebody that I was dealing with.
He says a customer picked him up at the corner of 39th and Lafayette, and they made a quick transaction while driving around the block.
By the time I finished changing her diaper and clean everything up, he's coming back up the steps.
And how long does that take?
3 to 5 minutes. And he's talking, nothing out of the ordinary. He was just normal.
Minutes later, Johnson got a call that his friend, Markus Boyd, had been shot. Johnson's life then began to unravel. According to investigators, when they asked Boyd's girlfriend who she suspected, only one name came to mind: Lamar Johnson. She thought the longtime friends might have had a falling out.
Well, Markus and I have never had an argument or a fight. I loved him. I had no reason to want to hurt him.
You agreed to talk to the cops without a lawyer.
Yeah.
That was risky, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't have anything to hide.
On November 3rd, 1994, 4 days after the murder, Johnson was arrested. In July 1995, he went on trial. The defense relied on Johnson's alibi, Erica Barrow, who said he was with her at the time of the murder. It took less than 2 hours for the jurors to reach a verdict: guilty.
At my trial, they did not even present a motive. They never explained why I supposedly did this.
Johnson was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In 2018, St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly Gardner agreed to look at his case.
I started seeing some red flags, and I consulted my team, and I said, I think we have a problem here.
One of the many red flags for Gardner was the timeline of the murder. Could Johnson have had time to kill his friend Markus Boyd? Erica Barrow said he only left his friend's apartment for around 5 minutes.
And you cannot drive that distance. You'd have to be speeding through St. Louis to even get there. And then you'd have to speed all the way back. There's no way you could do that.
At Johnson's trial, Detective Joe Nickerson testified that it only took him 5 minutes to go from the alibi location to the crime scene. 48 Hours asked Chief Investigator from the Circuit Attorney's Office, Robert Ogilvie, to take Aaron Moriarty on that same drive.
According to testimony, it just takes 5 minutes to get there. You're laughing.
Yeah, I don't think.
The drive was timed using a cell phone.
Yep. 12:55, 13 minutes.
13 minutes one way. That's more than double the time Detective Nickerson said it took.
As a prosecutor, you put people in prison. You don't try to get them out.
As a prosecutor, no prosecutor, I believe, wants to secure a conviction wrongfully, using wrong tactics. That's just not what we want to do. We want to get it right.